You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
So this is our June challenge, shall we say, where students have given me their poses and postures and asana that they would like to work on, and thank you for contributing. So we're going to start seated, nice comfortable seat, whether cross-legged or butterfly, bringing our hands into a gesture of Mustika Mudra. So we clench the fists like a nice thumb, hitching a lift. And you're going to bring the second knuckles of the fingers together, the heels of the hands together. That's it, perfect. Bring the thumbs together. Mustika Mudra. And then gently drop that down in towards the abdomen. So relax into the elbows, relax into the shoulders. Try to keep the heels of the hands and the knuckles together, and the kind of the bulbous part of the thumbs connected. Try not to make that too rigid. So our Mustika Mudra is for discipline and determination and willpower. And for some of the work today, we might need a little bit of inner strength as we face some challenges. So just allow yourself to become present here. Maybe keeping the eyes open or closing them, and just feeling the space that you're taking up, feeling your body sitting there on your mat. You're making this Mustika Mudra with the hands, feeling the connection, the sense of touch between the heels of each hand and the thumbs and fingers of each hand. Allow your breath to anchor you into the space, steady inhales and exhales through the nostrils. And just let go of your day, whatever time of day you are practicing. Let go of anything that's happened, let go of anything that is to come. Really pulling yourself into your flow state, exactly where you need to be. And whatever your own personal June challenge may be, whether it's a meditation a day, whether it's a daily breath work technique, maybe a posture that you'd like to work and improve on, or just having a yoga practice, a movement-based practice each and every day, whatever your June challenge is, just think about now your own intention to stay positive and strong, to pursue your endeavours. And we often embark on things that may be challenging or daunting and face difficulty along the way. It's how we approach these challenges, how we react, which can be the difference between success and failure. So always staying positive and accepting setbacks as part of the learning curve, and not to let any negativity take over. And to be successful in your own endeavours, to show strength, determination, willpower, discipline, commitment, and learning from your experiences, and to persevere towards your goal, your challenge, or your intention. As we release the mudra, nice and gently uncurling the fingers, letting those stretch out, taking the hands to the knees, feeling the palm nice and open, receptive and welcoming to practice. If you had cross-legged, change those legs now, bring the opposite leg in front. Sometimes that's even a smallest challenge in itself. It is for me. We're going to begin to introduce our Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is this slight restriction in the back of the windpipe. So you can hear and feel the breath going in through the nose, down the windpipe, making it long and slow. So we'll take 10 Ujjayi breaths. Let's take a nice deep breath out through the mouth. Breathing in, Ujjayi. And exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. So hopefully you found a nice rhythm for yourself to go into the next few. Inhaling and exhaling equally. Maybe introducing kumbhaka, which is a pause, a retention of breath at the top, a moment of nothing with the inhale, and then a moment of nothing at the exhale. Coming to the last few breaths, really trying to lengthen those slow, deep ujjayi. Hearing the sound like an ocean wave rolling in and rolling out. And then gently release ujjayi, release the throat. Breathe in deep, circle into the wrists. Let's get moving, circle into the shoulders. And coming into a tabletop position. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, really finding that nice stable and strong all fours, pushing away through the shins, pushing away through the palms, and really spreading the fingers here. So think about that Ujjayi breath that you just introduced there. Maybe introduce that now into your cat and cow. And it's this own pace and steadiness and slowness of breath, beginning to mobilize through the entire spine. And then coming back into neutral after your cat. Reaching right foot back, left arm reaches forward. You can lift the arm and the leg at the same time. Reach it away as you breathe in. Exhale, draw it into the center. Inhale, reach away. We'll do 4 of these on each side. Doesn't matter if you point or you can flex that lifted foot. See the difference there? Last time we open it out into our sunbird, so taking hold of the foot if it reaches, or you can just reach back. Pushing through left shin, right palm lifting up. Again, breathing, holding. Coming back into the center, tabletop position once more. Left leg reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale, pulling in. This is core activation, coordination. 4 of these. On the last time, sweep the right arm back around, opening up the shoulder. Sweep that foot back to meet the hand if you can. Lifting up the thigh, opening up that left hip. Remembering to breathe, remembering to push through right ankle and left palm. Nice and slowly lowering it down. Take an active child's pose here, keeping the knees and the feet together. Reach the hips back towards the heels. Keep up onto the fingertips. And then gently draw the biceps down. Heels towards the biceps. Forehead comes down to the mat. Remember our intention for practice: to pursue and to meet endeavours, and through your own reaction to stay positive, determined and committed. Coming back up into tabletop, threading the needle, lifting up left arm. Reaching it up towards the sky, open through the left side of the body, and then thread that arm through and under, bringing the left shoulder, left ear down, keeping the hips nice and high above the knees. You can reach the right arm forward, or it can stay by the face, or maybe you wish to take it into a bind. All options are available. If the head doesn't quite meet the mat, use a block. Fill the space. Pulling navel to spine. Pressing into the shins and the tops of the feet. Bring the right arm back to press into, to lift up left arm all the way up towards the sky. And left arm comes down, sweeping up right. Lifting up, opening right side of the body. Threading through, sending that right arm away. Bringing shoulder, ear, temple down, either onto the mat or to a block. Reaching arm forward, or staying where it is, or taking the hand back into a bind. Left hand to right hip. And slow and steady breaths, drawing navel to spine. Bringing left hand back to press you up, and right arm sweeps up towards the sky. And bring that hand down. Let's come down into a forearm plank here, so lowering down onto the elbows, keeping the elbows nice and tight. They're not flaring out to the sides of your mat. Nicely tight underneath the shoulders. And here, just drop the hips just a little bit. So your shoulders are in line with your hips. Your navel is pulling up, pressing away through palms, forearms. Shoulders are broadening. Tucking the toes is an option here to lift up into that full forearm plank. So shoulders, hips, heels all in alignment. Crown of the head reaches forward, heels push back. A little bit of challenge needed, a little bit of core strength, front, back and sides. Nice and slowly lower the hips. Keep the toes tucked if you can into Sphinx. If that's too much for the back, just reach the arms forward just a touch, and now soften to the tops of the feet, staying in that Sphinx pose, lifting chest, opening out to the front of the mat. Nice and slowly widen the elbows and roll down, belly, chest, and rib cage. Bring the hands underneath the head. Bring the big toes to touch. Just relax and sway out through the hips and spine. Let's come into a half frog from here. So taking your right leg out to the side of you. Ideally, the knee is in line with the hip. You've got a 90-degree bend at the hip, the knee, and at the ankle where you are lightly flexing, turning those toes up towards the shins. And then from here, your right arm threads through and under to the left side of your mat. If that's too much to do, just work with the leg and your left arm reaches forward. Dropping into right hip, dropping into right shoulder. Nice and slowly, left arm comes back to press up and bringing right leg back. Sway out through the hips. Left leg goes out, half frog. So again, 90-degree bend at hip. Don't bring that knee too far forward. Knee in line with hip, knee in line with ankle, flexing through the left foot there. And then threading through. Left arm this time. Drawing the outer shoulder down. Oh, particularly tight this side, I can feel. Dropping into left hip, dropping into left shoulder. Right arm back to push you up. Bring the left arm back and the left leg. Head to the back of the hands, big toes touch, sway out. Push yourself back into that tabletop, round the spine, all the way into that cat. Widen the knees and drop the hips back to the heels into child's pose. You can bring the hands underneath the forehead here if you like. Elbows pointing out towards the outer edges of the mat, dropping through all of the weight here. Nice and slowly rolling up through the spine, bringing the knees together, parallel with the hips. Let's come into a little baby camel. So coming up to a high kneel. Getting the stacking joints, so shoulders above hips, hips above knees. Take the hands back behind you. Support the spine here and start to lengthen the lower back as you lift up. Draw the elbows in towards one another. Squeeze the elbows together. Push the hips forward as you lift out of lower back. Maybe the gaze goes to the sky or it can look forward. Good. Open chest. Pulling those shoulder blades together, trying to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Pull those shoulders away. They don't crunch up. And lift up, back into center. Good. Come back to kneeling. Circle out through the wrists. Give them a little shake. Clenching fists, stretching fingers. And rotations. We have some arm balances in practice today. And interlace the fingers and do a little bit of a break dance one way and reverse, go the other way. Stretch the fingers up towards the sky, press the palms away, draw the elbows in towards the ears, release the hands, come forward, tucking toes, pedaling out into your downward facing dog. So releasing one heel at a time, just lengthening through the legs, taking time to warm up the legs. We've just warmed up the upper body. This is where we start to come into lower body. Once you're ready, exhaling both feet together. Heels do not have to meet the mat. Thinking about that inverted V shape, pulling navel up towards the spine. Maybe a time to introduce Ujjayi Breath once more. Relax the head, ears between the biceps. Let's do a connecting vinyasa here, which is going to be introduced into our sun salutations and flow. So coming forward into plank. Shifting the shoulders above the wrists, lowering the knees, lowering chest, chin between the thumbs, bringing those elbows in towards the midline, releasing all the way to the mat as you roll the shoulders away. Pull the elbows back towards the hips, up into cobra. Nice and slowly lower, exhale, tuck toes, push back into your downward facing dog. If you like, do that same exact connecting vinyasa once more, or we can go into the chaturanga up dog variation, which is shifting forward once more into plank. Instead of lowering the knees, we lower the whole body, tucking those elbows in, shoulders and elbows in alignment, releasing to the tops of the feet into upward facing dog. Hips, thighs off the mat, press back. Downward facing dog, much more challenging there for the transition of shoulders. Deep breaths, starting to fire up our core. Looking forward, walking the feet towards the hands at the front of the mat. Take a nice deep fold. Take the feet hip width, lift the feet away from the mat. Give yourself that rocking through the toes and the heels. Lengthen spine, hinge and fold from the hips. Get the belly, belly, chest down over the thighs. Taking hold of elbows, swaying from side to side, letting the head release and relax. Coming into a nice deep forward fold here. Try to keep the belly and the chest down over the thighs. As you start to lift the sit bones, reach the crown of the head down. If you feel tight this morning, or whatever time of day you're practicing today, go easy into the back of the knees, back of the hamstrings without overstretching and pulling. So if you've come away from the thighs, drop down into that deep squat again, bending the knees, chest, belly down, lifting hips, letting head rock forward to the toes. Keep the weight more or less into the feet. From here, we come into our malasana squat, widening the feet out, turning the toes out, turning the knees out, opening into the hip joints, swaying left and right. Bring elbows into the knees, hands in prayer at the heart center, lengthen spine. Pull in Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, abdominal and pelvic floor seals. Shoulders are relaxed away from ears. Going to come into an arm balance from here, so taking an option of your crow. Hands can come down to the mat, and whether you're bent elbows, you can just simply rest the knees on top of the upper arms. Maybe you're coming into crow, which is a straight arm variation. And you can always stand on a block here to give you that extra height. Rocking forwards. Don't look down, look forward, lengthening the neck, rounding through the spine, engaging abdominals, using breath, finding the balance. Maybe lifting one toe at a time until you feel stable to lift both. Pushing away from the mat, rounding through the spine, looking forward and releasing. Exhale, take that fold. Lift up the arms, press through the feet, come all the way up into stand. Stretch the spine. And then exhale, hands come down. It's just started raining, so you might be able to hear that on the roof. Let's come into a little bit of a flow. So taking a drink if you need to here. I'm going to start to get into the legs a little bit. We're going to use our flow with sun salutations today, lifting up into your upward salute. Exhale, melt and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back into a low or a high lunge. Find the lunge position for you. Take the arms into cactus, pulling the elbows down. So just dropping the knee, we're going to pull the elbows in towards the midline and reach them up as you straighten. Pull in, we'll do 5 of these, and push up. Pull in as you lower and push up. That's number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Reach the arms up and forward, hands come down. You're going to step it back into downward facing dog. Ready for your connecting vinyasa of choice, whether that is your plank, chaturanga up dog, or knees down, chest down, cobra. Everything slows right down now as you come back into downward facing dog on your exhale. Taking a child's pose or tabletop, wherever you need to. Lifting up, right leg, up and back behind you, 3-legged dog. Bring the knee all the way into the chest, placing the foot into warrior 2. Opening up and settle into your warrior 2 position. So again, nice strong legs, strong feet, strong ankles. Draw navel into spine. We're going to straighten the legs, pulling them together, and the arms meet above the head. So everything comes into the center. 5 of these. Exhale as you lower into warrior 2. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, extend those fingers longer. 2 more, lifting up. Draw the inner thighs together. Bend the knee, drive it forward. Last time, lift it up. And go back into that warrior 2 position. We windmill the hands down, frame the front foot, and then step forward to the front of your mat into your exhale fold. Press through the feet, lifting yourself up to standing. We're going to add a balance in here. So we're going to come into tree pose with the right leg coming up the leg, either resting on the ankle or the thigh, or the calf, should I say, before the thigh. So choosing the option of your hands, maybe they are at the heart center, maybe they are your branches of your tree, or maybe they are above your head. So stabilizing here. Focus, commitment to the balance, using your drishti, that single point of gaze, something that isn't moving ahead of you. Don't look down. You can always hold on to something. Now from here, this is the transition. We're going to release the hands. We're going to come into warrior 3 from here. So if you have a block handy, you can place the block down in front of you on the mat. We're going to bring that knee into the center of us and then press the leg back into warrior 3. Find the balance in warrior 3. Oops, she says. And then close it off. Bring the right leg back. That might be firing up into your left glute, left leg by now. Let's repeat. On the left, lifting up into your upward salute, breathing in. Exhale, melt and fold. Inhale, half lift, ripple the spine, lengthen, head away. Exhale, these lunges are coming up with the left leg back behind you. You can go into your low lunge and just work with the arms. Arms come into cactus, elbows in line with the shoulders. So as you lower the knee, the elbows pull inwards. Nice big strong shoulder movements. Pulling elbows strong. Hands are spread wide. It's number 2. Number 3, exhale, lower. Good, strong, controlled legs, beautiful. 4, Last time. 5. And you reach the arms forward. They frame the front foot. And you step that back into your downward facing dog, preparing for your connecting vinyasa of choice. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Slow it down with Ujjayi Breath. Couple of breaths here. Coming into the warrior 2. Lifting up left leg this time. Sweep the knee all the way to the chest. Place the foot. I'm going to have my back to you for this one. Rolling open. Windmilling the arms into warrior 2. So here we draw the legs and the arms together. Inhale. Squeeze. Exhale. Drive knee forward as you bend. 4 more. Lifting up. And lower. Lifting up. And lower. This is where your challenge it may be coming in for you. Last one coming up. Inhale. Exhale into warrior. Take a breath. Windmill the hands. Turn on the back foot. And then step it forward all the way into your Uttanasana or your straight-legged forward fold. Press through the feet, lift yourself up. This is where we come straight into that balance of tree. Ankle, calf, or thigh. Checking in with the stability and the strength of your supporting leg and foot and ankle. Hands might be in towards the heart. Out to the sides of you, tree branches. And fingertips reaching up towards the sky above the head. Soften through the rib cage, knit the rib cage together. And if you have the thigh placed, if you have the foot at the thigh, press the foot into the thigh and press the thigh back against it. Remember, we have that warrior 3 to come into. That is the challenge in the transition. So releasing the arms, turning the knee in towards the center to close the hip, and then press the foot back. Big deep breath as you come into that strong warrior position. Arms might be out at side at shoulder height in your aeroplane. Beautiful. Turn those toes downwards towards the mat. Internally rotate that lifted left leg, thigh. Push through the right foot and bring it back into center to close. Whew, well done. So the legs are now warm and ready. Yeah, good work. Let's come down into our first side plank. So it's our second arm balance, but our side plank. Lifting up into upward salute. Big stretch. Exhale, melt and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step right, step left, back into plank. Now, finding options for yourself for your side plank. I'm going to give you some options. So you can come down onto the hip, down onto the forearm. That's okay. Or you might just stay on the palm with your opposite leg in front for a little bit of support. Toes in front. Remember, you're on the outer edges of the feet, all feet together. This is your most challenging posture of side plank. Good. So expansive arms, reaching up with the fingers. Good. Changing the gaze if you want to, up towards the top hand. Good. Strong breath. Smile. Come back into plank, change sides, choosing your same option. Remember, those feet are flexed, toes are pointing towards the edge of your mat. Strong arm underneath you. Bring back into plank. Oh, lower down, connecting vinyasa of choice. Woo, into upward facing dog or cobra. Back into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths, or you can take your tabletop child's pose option. Good. So let's look forward and bring the right knee to the right wrist. Let's come into pigeon pose. Opening out that underneath leg, stretching back your left leg behind you. Sit nice and tall here. Make sure this right foot is active underneath you. It's not sickling and a dead foot. Draw the left hip flexor downwards. You can always prop up the right buttock and then reach it forward. Exhaling over your right thigh. Deep breaths out. We've pretty much done all of the hard work. Sometimes the cooler, slower postures could be more challenge to you. So again, sit with level of challenge, working towards an edge where you can feel something on a scale of 1 to 10. Letting gravity be the friend here as you drop weight deeper, deeper, deeper into the mat. Lifting head, lifting gaze, walking hands back towards the front knee, sitting nice and tall here. Upright pigeon, little back bend, so pull navel into spine. Don't let it hang out onto that right calf. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. We're going to plant the palms, tuck the back toe, and sweep right leg all the way back up behind you into three-legged dog so you can work out into the hip and into that right glute. Release the foot down, exhaling into downward facing dog. Preparing for your left side pigeon, lifting up left leg this time. Knee comes through to left wrist. Dropping into the posture nice and carefully. Never rush to get anywhere. As the Buddha says, don't rush anything. It'll happen when it's ready. Dropping right hip down towards left heel and then coming down over the thigh. Softening into left glute here. Remember, you can always prop up, filling the space between your left glute and the mat. Always being aware of differences from right to left. Tighter joints, tighter muscles. Use the breath. Be guided by your breath. Ujjayi breath really helps to just bring you into the present, listening to that sound of your own breath in and out. Nice and slowly walking the hands back as you lift the gaze, lift the head. Dropping hips a little deeper there. Internally rotating right thigh downwards towards the mat. Drop the shoulders, draw navel into spine. Preparing to lift that left leg into your three-legged dog. Hands plant, back toes tuck, lift knee, and take it back. Releasing that left foot into downward facing dog. Exhaling here. Take a child's pose or tabletop if you should need. We're going to come into a dolphin or a forearm balance, Pincha Mayurasana, which is your choice here. So lowering down onto the forearms for dolphin. You can interlace the fingers here, but try to keep the elbows nice and tucked underneath the shoulders. Walking the feet in, lifting up the hips. This might be enough. You can stay here in dolphin. If you like, lifting up right and left legs independently. Feel the lightness in the underneath foot, maybe little bunny hops. And if Pincha Mayurasana is in your practice, you can, of course, go into that one. That's a forearm balance. And coming down. Oh, well done. Release the arms back to the hips and come into child's pose, letting the head come down to the mat. Nice and slowly rolling up through the spine. Take a breather. Long spine, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, the teeth, the facial expression. Find the steadiness of your breath once more as the heart rate settles after being in that inversion of dolphin or forearm stand. Swing the legs around in front of you. Let's come into seated forward fold. If the hamstrings are tight, keep nice looseness into the back of the knee. Or use a block to sit on or a cushion. Lifting up the arms and exhale forward. Taking hold of toes, ankles, shins or thighs, or resting the hands down on the mat. Drawing navel to spine, letting head release and relax. Soften the back of the legs. Breathe through the spine. Slowly lift up, bring yourself back up to seated. Let's come into a deer pose or a reclined deer. So if you're towards the back of your mat, just shuffle your way forward a little bit. Open right leg into your deer pose, left leg folds back behind you. If you can, try and get that left foot on the mat rather than on a hard surface, or you might like to place a blanket underneath it. Now, this might be enough for you. If you like, you can have a cushion or a bolster behind you. It's kind of a cross between a deer and a hero. I'm going to say it is a heroic deer. So you start to come back. Now, I'm going to take a block for this, actually. Bring the block underneath me so that I'm going to rest my back somewhere on that block. So the point of the exercise here is that we are opening up through this left thigh, left hip flexor. We're going to try to keep that left knee downwards. If it doesn't want to go and that's really tight into that left leg, you might be able to just prop something underneath that left knee. But if you can, draw the knee down. Now, if you feel that that's okay, you might come into a place where you can take the block away from underneath you. But for now, stay, hold, breathe, relax. Try and loosen off any of the tightness that you may be feeling. You may feel this in the toes, the ankles, the outer foot, the knee. The spine, it's a little bit of a back bend as well, because it's a heroic deer. Coming out as you went in, lifting gaze first of all, looking along the body, pressing into the elbows, coming up onto the palms, and then just sitting upright, dropping both sit bones down. So dropping left sit bone down into the mat. Change sides nice and carefully, bringing that left knee in and then opening out into other side. So again, making sure that right foot is nice and comfortable. The right knee is nice and comfortable. You have a little square here. So there's a 90 degree in the right knee, 90 degree in the hip, flexing into the ankle. And then again, coming back nice and slowly or staying upright. Don't rush to get anywhere. Lengthening that right thigh, right knee downwards. You're pressing the right knee down towards the mat. If it's really uncomfortable, come up or use a block underneath that knee. And just noticing the differences right to left. You might feel that your right thigh, right hip flexor, right knee is tighter or looser than the other side. Give in to gravity. If you're coming all the way back, relax, release, soften. Heroic deer. Coming out as you went in, lifting the gaze first of all, pressing into the elbows, coming back up onto the palms, sitting upright, dropping right sit bone into the ground, sitting nice and tall, taking that prop away from you behind, and then roll onto the left buttock so you can release that right leg. Sitting at the end of your mat, nice and tall, let's take a nice slow roll down through the spine. If you are getting chilly, put something warm on, but draw the knees in towards the chest and gently squeeze. Roll out from side to side, just release through waists, spine, upper, middle, back, shoulder blades. Move the head left and right, release into the neck. Open out the knees, circle into the hip joints. One way and the other. Let's just come into an IT band stretch here. So right leg crosses over into that all four position. You've got a light flexion into that left foot. And you're going to roll over onto your left hip, placing that right foot down on the mat. If it doesn't quite meet, you can again use the block. The closer that right foot is towards the hip, the harder that's going to feel for you, but further away, ankle closer to knee. Open up the chest, try to square off the shoulders as much as you can, and the arms just might come back into cactus, making sure both shoulders are firmly planted, you're starting to push the right knee away, driving that right knee away from you. Notice where you feel that. If you want to add on, of course you can here. Right hand takes left foot, cat pulling its tail, making sure right shoulder is down and the chest is square to the mat. Breathe into tight areas wherever you feel this. It's a twist. It's an IT band, outer thigh, outer hip stretch. It's a quad stretch if you are pulling into that underneath foot. Release the hand if you caught the foot, extend the leg and just roll back. Take a moment to uncurl everything. Come into Shavasana. Bending up the knees, left foot crosses over right thigh this time. Activate through that left ankle. You're going to roll over onto your right hip this time, left foot coming down onto the mat or to the block. Opening up the chest and the shoulders, pulling left shoulder down, either arm staying into cactus on this side. Pushing that left knee away, using the power of the inner thigh and the glute and the hip rotators to push that knee away from you, and maybe catching the underneath foot with your left hand. So again, dropping through left shoulder if you can. Chest is square to the mat, not skew-if torso. If you're looking at yourself from above, you would see that the torso would be in alignment and the hips are moving off to the right. Really keep that big toe and the heel planted off your left foot. Breathing into the tight areas of the back bend, the twist, the opening. Release the hand if you were catching your foot. Extend that underneath leg. Open out the left and come back into center of Shavasana. Relax and soften. Always allow the body to recover in a posture as you come out of one, allowing you to feel the benefits and the response. It's how you react when you're in the challenge as well. Drawing knees in towards the chest, rolling, massaging out through the spine. Opening out the knees, circling, rotating, gently moving through the hip joints. Going one way and going the other. And then taking the soles of the feet both down onto the mat and just opening the arms out into cactus or shoulder height, dropping the knees over, coming to the outer and inner edges of the foot. Bring back into the center, realign, and then dropping knees to left. Bring back into center. And if there's something else that you feel you need to do right now before coming into our final relaxation of Shavasana, go ahead, do that. Maybe it's a leg stretch, a twist, a happy baby, but make sure you're warm and comfortable using props that you have available. Legs go nice and wide of the mat, dropping the toes out towards the side of you, letting the legs soften, opening up naturally through the hips, relaxing belly. If you feel that you can't lie down flat, you can always bend the knees up and place the soles of the feet down. Spreading the shoulders underneath you, pulling the middle and the upper back down, and then the arms come out to the side, palms are face up. Make sure that the toes and the fingers aren't touching anything that's going to pull you into a distractive thought. So make sure you have all of the space available to you without connection other than your body on the mat. Taking a few breaths to get you anchored and settled, grounded, and at peace as you slow everything down now for your well-deserved reward. And really trying to maintain presence, not being pulled away, not getting distracted. And just thinking for a moment of your own willpower, determination, commitment, and discipline for your own physical and mental practice, this mind and body union. I'll let you know when it's time to come back around. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths now as you just bring your awareness back to your surroundings, back into the body by wiggling fingers, moving wrists, wiggling toes, moving ankles. And doing what you need to awaken from Shavasana, either stretching or drawing knees in or both. Never rushing, drawing knees in and rolling, massaging out, preparing to come back up to a comfortable seat. Just returning back. Let's bring the hands into heart center. Sitting nice and tall, just checking in. Checking in with your mind, your body. Hopefully always feeling better after a practice and not worse. I always do, at least, even when doing a self-practice or teaching. Just reminding yourself of your own personal June challenge, whether that's a breathwork technique every day, meditation, a movement practice, or a posture or asana. And, finding that discipline and that willpower to face setbacks and working towards your goal. Staying positive and strong to pursue your endeavours. Always thank yourself, your body, everything that you ask of it, and I thank you. Namaste.